Hey, New Beginnings, this is John. First of all, let me apologize that it's Saturday afternoon and I'm making a video that I promised to make earlier in the week. Please accept my apologies. I know this is in poor form, but I'm going to put the video out today and hope some of you get a chance to see it. I hope and pray that you've been following along in your bulletin using the digging deeper section, the questions. I hope that's helpful to you. We'll keep trying to do that. And then I hope you've been spending time in prayer this week using the notes in your bulletin as a guide for how to pray and who to pray for. I ran across a story this week that I thought was pretty neat and applied to last Sunday's message, and I hope it's helpful to you. A number of years ago, there was a group of scientists who gathered themselves together and they took themselves away from the rest of the world in this project called Biosphere 2. And in the Biosphere 2 project, they basically created a version of all these different kinds of environments. They had a rainforest and they had a desert and they even had a section that was like an ocean. They could replicate anything in the weather and anything in the climate, except for one thing. They could not replicate wind. And it began to show. After a period of time, there were a number of acacia trees, and the acacia trees would grow, but over time, as they grew, they just, on their own, bent over and snapped off. They couldn't bear the weight of their own tree. They were too weak without the trials that wind gave them to give them strength like they do in nature. Listen, we live in a world where God, sometimes He puts intentionally and sometimes He allows trials to come into our life like the wind that strengthens those trees. And as we learned last week in James, the purpose of those is for our benefit. We can count it joy because He's working those things together in our life for something good. In fact, He says that we know that the testing of our faith produces perseverance. That perseverance is needed for us to become mature and complete, not lacking in anything. And then this Sunday, tomorrow, we're going to talk about verses 5 through 8, where part of not missing or not lacking anything includes this lack of wisdom that we all have. That we all lack wisdom. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about how to remedy that lack of wisdom in our lives. I'm praying for you that you have a good evening and that the time that you've spent in God's Word this week has been fruitful and helpful. And I'm praying that as we come together to worship corporately tomorrow, that God will bless our time together as we talk about seeking wisdom from God. Thank you. I hope you have a great evening, and God bless you.